Welcome to Nitpicking Nerds, and it's time for us to answer one question about 10 cards.
Are they worth buying in Commander?
I'm your host, Joe Cherries.
I'm your host, Beezy, and that makes us the Nitpicking Nerds, which means we're bringing you videos every single day. So if you want to support the channel, you can be one of the nicest people ever and join our Patreon, which is in the description. Obviously, when you join, you will become, if you weren't already, the nicest person ever.
That is how that works. I actually looked it up on Wikipedia, and Wikipedia never lies. You can also use tcgplayer.com. So if you want to buy Magic cards, oh, well, here's an easy thing to do. You go to the description, click our link, go to tcgplayer.com, and because you started with our link, you buy the same Magic cards at the same price, and we get a kickback. No extra money for you.
Everybody benefits because you're supporting us, and then we're being supported by you. So I think everybody benefits from that.
In the whole world.
It's perfect. And the same is true from dragonshield.com. They have the best sleeves in the multiverse.
Good sleeves.
So you can go to that link, buy the sleeves or other various Magic product you want straight from the source, and then we're going to get a kickback on the order. You're helping out the channel. You're buying cards for the same exact price, and everyone's happy again. Everyone.
And this video, like every other video, is brought to you by Moxvillecom, the sponsor of this channel. You know we love them, and you're not going to see that ad coming because it's always surprise sneak attack.
Look, it's just not even worth trying. I know some people are like, I'm going to get the Moxvillecom ad. You never do. You never do. Just give up. And also, happy birthday to everyone whose birthday is today, and happy birthday to all your pets whose birthdays are also today, because we care about birthdays here.
Yes, and just make sure if you don't want to do any of that other stuff, just hit subscribe. It's so easy.
And remember that when it's your birthday, you're going to get a happy birthday.
If you're subscribed. You have to be subscribed or we're going to forget on your birthday.
There's telepathic blockers that let you not hear the happy birthday if you're not subscribed.
All right, so let's go over some of the criteria here. So what are we talking about? We're going to have 10 cards. We're going to tell you what the card is. We're going to tell you the price of the card. Then we're going to tell you, is that price worth paying? When you can afford the card, obviously, you have the cash for it. You have a deck for it to go in. So the card is ready to go into a deck. Is it worth buying then?
Right, or would your X dollars be worth spending on something else, some other combination of Magic cards that just make it look at this card and I go, ooh, no way I'm buying this. So we'll see, but we're getting submissions from our Discord. So obviously, if you want to submit to the next one, join the Discord.
Yes, yeah. I at everybody or at here, people within the Cherries Picks is the name of the.
Who's the first lucky person?
It is BBQ Hoss. Classic name. And they suggested Pact of Negation, which is a 0-mana counterspell that just counters a spell, but on the beginning of upkeep, you got to pay 5 mana that, or else you're dead. Or else you literally lose the game. Currently at $12, was just reprinted in Time Spiral Remastered, so it's down quite a bit. And now I think this card is niche. I want to be very clear. I don't think there are a lot of decks that are chasing after Pact of Negation.
But we're assuming you have the cash and you have a deck for it.
Yes, so you have the cash and you have a deck that actually wants Pact of Negation. I'm in for it then. I think it's a yes. I think $12 is worth it, but I think you have to really be aware, does your deck want this? Because I think the question doesn't apply to as many decks as people think it does.
Yeah, once your deck wants this, it's really a big upgrade over like Counterspell or something. But I would definitely reassess, double check to make sure your deck actually wants this card. Are you like an aggressive combo, like you're not going to pay the 5 because there's no next turn because you win, that kind of thing?
Exactly, yeah, absolutely. That's exactly what you want to think about with this card. The question isn't whether this is worth buying, because yes, it is worth buying. The question is, do you actually have a deck for it? That's right. The real question you have to ask yourself with this card.
Because we just get to assume that. So let's go to Hootslash, who wants to know, is Splendid Angel worth buying? Now, Splendid Angel is a very special case here because it's $40 because Pioneer's the hot new format that basically got reanimated by Wizards because there's a new Pro Tour. This is in one of the Mono White Angels decks, and it spiked $40. So we're assuming you're in a life gain deck for this. You're trying to gain 4 life, and then you get an Angel.
Yes. So in that case of that, it's still not worth it. This card is good. Don't get me wrong. I think it is a great life game payoff. It's nice to have for the right decks. And the fact that it gives you the option of potentially putting mana into it in order to produce an Angel when you have nothing else to do is definitely all good. $40 good? Absolutely 100% not.
Yeah, for me, I don't know that this card's making my deck if it's 5 cents. So I'm way couldn't be more off of this card for Commander at this point. If you missed the boat, fine. It's sorry, it sucks, but I still wouldn't pick this up. It's not even going to perform as a $40 card ever because it's just not operating on the axis that these expensive cards need to do. It's not a win con. It's just hey, there's a decent way to gain life and pay off life. It's when I can play Angelic Accord, which is like the same baseline of a card, and just save $39.99, I want to do it.
Yeah, and that's absolutely fair. Yeah, I think this is not worth it at all at $40. All right, our next card is suggested by Miss Mayhem, which is the sassiest name I've ever heard.
Very sassy.
And I absolutely love it. Ancient Tomb. It's a land that tests for 2 mana, but you take 2 damage. Currently at $70. That is a large, large price tag. And now you never have to ask the question, does my deck want this? The answer is
yes.
Yes, unless you're specifically 5 or maybe 4 colors.
Which probably makes evaluating this tougher.
It does. It really does, because everybody wants this card.
Everybody will take it. If I just gave you one, you'd play it in a deck.
If you have 30 Ancient Tombs, you're going to put... If you have 30 decks, you're going to put 29 Ancient Tombs in.
That's probably right.
And that's about right. Like, there's going to be 1 in 30 where it's like, okay, actually, I don't want Ancient Tomb in this deck.
Yeah, so it's tough to say, because $70 is so much, but you kind of get a great land. I think I would say no on this one. I mean, it's been reprinted. I think I would say no because it's likely to get reprinted at some point, and it's been down to the $40 range. It was $20 forever ago, but I doubt that's going to happen again. But it's going to get reprinted again. I don't think I'm going to spend $70, depending. Like if I have $70, you might be able to upgrade more things than just one land.
So I'm going to go back to the base of the video.
Yeah.
The base of the video is that you have a deck that wants it.
Right, but 70 is a lot to spend elsewhere, is what I'm saying.
I agree. You have a deck that wants it. You have the money to spend on this.
Mm-hmm.
I think the answer is yes. It does perform $70 good. Now, if you only have $70, it's a question. Then it's a tougher question. But I'm going to assume that you just have the budget and you're going to buy some Magic cards. I think this is a $70 good card. It is one of the best lands ever printed.
It's dumb.
It's completely insane. It'll push you far ahead. Sometimes it can be the reason you win certain games. That's how good it is. So I'm on yes. I think $70. This card is $70 good.
Yeah, it's really strong. I guess I'll say no just to make it even, but wouldn't fault you if you did. Let's go to number 4. Tommy, just Tommy, the Tommy, wants to know about Natural Order. It's $16. 4 mana, sorcery, sack a green creature. Go find any green creature and just put it in play. Yeah, this card is really, really, really good. One could almost say bananas.
Yeah. It makes me think, did Tommy miss one of our videos? Because this was on our most worth buying list at one point.
A while back it was.
This one is not even close. Natural Order is an insane Magic card. And not only is it insane, its cheapest version is the awesome Strixhaven art.
That's a little added bonus.
It's just an cherry on top bonus. This card is absolutely... in a stellar win condition. It's a stellar way to just advance any board state, even if you're not going to be winning the game. It can never underperform. The one risk it has is you have to sacrifice a creature, so if it gets countered, there is a risk there, but that's it.
Token, mana dork, anything.
Once this thing resolves, your best creature is in play.
For 4 mana.
For 4 mana, for $16.
You can't beat this. I think this card is like really... That's a really fair price. I would be saying
ludicrously low.
It was worth it at like 32. If you doubled it, I would still say, yep, you could probably buy this card.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. So $16 is 100% worth it.
Short list of like most powerful cards in Commander.
Yeah, it's insanity. It's insane. It's insanity.
Said it like 8 times. What is next?
It is
Subcuteness milk?
That's not a word.
I think subcuteness might be a word.
What's it mean?
I mean, I think cuteness is a thing.
Oh, okay. I'm just being silly. I don't know. I have no clue what it means. All right. It's Nature's Lore. 1 in the green, search for a forest, put it onto the battlefield. Doesn't have to be basic forest, and it doesn't enter tapped. Both things that makes this card good. Currently $5, and this is such an easy, oh my God, yes, this is the best ramp spell.
Tied for best 2-mana ramp spell.
2-mana ramp spell. It's tied with its counterpart, 3 Visits, which is like $4 and also worth buying.
Color fixes you without you having to compromise on how much green mana you get, because you're going to get green plus whatever you need. There's plenty of lands with types. You're going to have them because that's the deck this goes in. This is just the like stapliest card on here pretty much. It goes in everything. That's not a creature-based deck.
Yeah, and even some of your creature makes this is like the first things you're going. Just like, I want to diversify a little bit. I don't want all my ramp to be on creatures for some reason.
But I really need another 2.
Or I need another 2. It's like, okay, these are the first ones you're going to. The Nature's Lores, the 3 Visits, and it's not even close. These are amazing. I absolutely like when I start building a green deck. These are some of the first cards I type in. Like, oh, this is green. Okay, here's Nature's Lore.
Huge upgrade on Rampant Growth. I think they're both huge upgrades on Cultivate. I don't play the cards anymore. I think you're going to be really satisfied with the Nature's Lore type cards, but at least specifically this one, which is worth buying.
So Rampant Growth is totally passable, totally fine card, and the amount that this is upgrading on it is insanity. Like, worth $5? Yeah, it is definitely worth $5.
Discord user John Everyman wants to know, what is the best way to build a deck online? And I would say, John, thanks for asking, because moxville.com, this is the perfect segue. I mean, he asked and we delivered. This is a real person. It's the best way to build decks. It's easy, it's intuitive, it's fast. It helps you tag things, you sort them, you organize them, you can write primers. There's too many things to even list. The fact that you search in the search bar and it only shows you cards that are legal in your commander deck, poof!
Absolutely, yeah. Like, I think my favorite examples of that is if I'm playing a 2-color deck and I can't think of the name of the temple, I could type in temple and I will be able to.
There it is.
Yep, I'll be like, oh, that's the temple I wanted. Also, really cool feature is if you use it and like the drop bar goes and you're like, I don't know which one of these is it. Hit that enter button. It'll take you to a screen that'll show you the visuals, show you the cards that can go in your deck.
You gotta use it. You gotta use Moxville because you're missing out if you don't. Who's next?
Next is Jolly Green Giant, and they want to know about Grand Crescendo. It is X white. You get X 1/1 citizen tokens, and your creatures gain indestructible. Currently, $15. So Grand Crescendo is an obviously very, very strong card. But is it worth $15? It's a really interesting question. And my answer is going to be yes. I look at this card and I just see top 3 token creators of all time. And I'm in for it. It's versatility, and the fact that this is somehow a protection spell from your board on top of everything else just makes me go, yeah, I'm in for this card. Is it expensive? Yeah, it's the most expensive of like these token creators I'm talking about. Like, so the three I'm thinking of are Secure the Waste,
March of the Multitudes,
Call the Coppercoats,
yeah,
and March of the Multitudes in this. Like, so it's top 4 for sure. It's with those. It's just along those lines, and it's definitely the most expensive of those. But it also has the most versatility of those, where all of those only ever make you tokens. This gives you a chance to protect your board from certain board wipes.
I'm really curious if this is better than Flawless Maneuver. Being 0 mana is huge. You don't want a million of these effects, but the fact that it makes tokens makes it not just this effect. So I could see either way, and I think even not knowing exactly how this would perform, I'd pull the trigger at $15. I'd put it in my deck. Like, the raw power is there. It's not going to underperform. It's just like, hey, is this like $15 perform, or does it perform more like a $5 card, like, and really good?
This is exactly a tokens deck card. Like, I'm not saying this card is versatile and should go in a ton of different decks. You want it in token decks, and I'm 100% in for it in those decks. Or
you may have called it versatile for a different reason, so don't rewind.
I explain. I'm using versatile in 2 different ways.
You're using it in a very versatile way.
Yeah, I'm using versatile in a versatile way. Great point, BZ. I'm a genius.
The versatility of this meta reference here, we're just spiraling in. How about number 7?
Okay, well, it is Cowcakes. What an awesome name.
Only awesome names on our Discord.
Cowcakes suggest Goldspan Dragon. 5-mana dragon with haste. It's a 4/4. It's got flying because obviously it's a dragon. Everyone knows that dragons got flying. And when it attacks or becomes a target of a spell or ability, you get a treasure. And because this has more text in it, because this card
needed more text.
For some reason, for some ungodly reason, it needed more text. Your treasure is sacrificed for double mana. Okay. Wow. This card is a lot. And I want to say, I really like this card in Commander in specific niche decks that can use it appropriately. All that said, even when you find the homes for this deck at $25, I'm off of it. I think it's a no.
Oh, wow. That would have rolled up. That was like a Gordon Ramsay build up.
It was, because I really like...
It's fantastic, but you're eliminated.
I really do like Goldspan Dragon. I want to be so... Like, that's what I'm trying to say. It's like, I have this in the deck. I enjoy playing it in that deck. I don't think it performs $25 good, though.
Right. I would maybe say that if I want to fiddle around with the requirements here, I would narrow it down to, like, literally, you are the treasures deck. You are playing tribal treasures. Then I would get it. So I'll narrow that down to that and say yes. And everywhere is obviously else just a no. Like, definitely not as, like, a mid-rangey good stuff card. Nah.
So give the yes or no.
Well, overall, I'm saying I'm narrowing down where I'd put it in, and I'd say yes for that. Yeah, I'm narrowing down to just treasure decks.
Okay, so
where you're saying no to more, I think.
I'm saying no overall. Even on treasure decks, I think it's a little weak.
Okay.
Overall, but you can do like Goldspent Dragon, I absolutely love you. You're the best card I've ever seen ever. And the...
Which is why I have to eliminate you.
Which is why I have to eliminate you from my
And you
show.
get the sound effect.
Yeah,
Zoom in on someone's
If you've
sweaty
never
face.
watched the Key and Peele skit where...
What was his? Oh man, it was Gideon's Kitchen.
Yeah,
That's the name of it.
Gideon's Kitchen. It's
Real
real
good.
good. Go watch that because that's exactly what we're talking about.
Next, we have Descendants are asking, is Altar of the Brood worth buying? Altar of the Brood is a 1-mana artifact. Whenever a permanent enters the battlefield under your control, each opponent mills one. This is like a really weird card that kind of just sees no play unless you're going infinite and you have a very specific set of requirements. Because there's a lot of payoffs for going infinite. But if you're looping, like, let's say, just to make it simple, Sun Titan and Fiend Hunter, well, it's infinite TBs, you need a payoff. Well, this is mill everybody. I don't think mill everybody is even necessarily guaranteed. I think you're like 85% guaranteed. But why would I pay $6 for something that's not synergistic? It's a complete brick. It does absolutely nothing unless you are winning the game right now. I just wouldn't get this ever. I don't think there's any deck I want this in.
So this is really interesting. Before Modern Horizons 2, I would have easily said no. I know.
What did Modern Horizons 2 do?
I'm about to explain. So before Modern Horizons 2, I would have absolutely said no. But if you have combos, this makes Urza Saga is able to get this card, and it's like an extra copy of it.
That's only a slight boost up, I feel like.
I think this card, I don't think it's a good card, but I think your percentages are low. I think when you mill everyone out, you're like 98% to win.
You're really high. It's like 90. It's over 90 for sure. You're probably like 95, but it's still not something I would say is like definitely guaranteed unless you know their decks.
Yeah. So if you have a lot of infinite ETB loops in your deck and you want to pay off this card, I think this card is fine. I think that this is a card I'm not looking to play often, but if I have the deck and I know I want Alter the Brood, $6, yes, I think it's worth it.
I'm gonna say no. I think you can if Alter the Brood's good in your deck, you can probably just find a synergy piece that isn't a completely blank magic card, which is actually it's like worse than a blank, because if you play it on turn 1, you're just like giving your opponents free value. I will just mill 10 cards at the start of the game. That's good for me. So you don't want to do that. You kind of just have to. It just sits there and kind of rots in your opening hand.
Fair enough. I mean, I'll say
right. I'm at no. You're at yes.
I'm at yes. Next, Beth Jezos.
Good name.
Suggest Noble Hierarch, 1-mana, green, 0/1, taps for 3 different colors. The Bant colors. Those are the colors it can tap for.
Don't forget Exalted.
And it also has Exalted, which is not relevant at all. This is $14. And this is an easy no, because where we're sitting with Mana Dorks is we don't necessarily need them to fix, and this is only slightly good at fixing. I think Birds of Paradise is cheaper than this, and that's close to not being worth it, even though I think it is worth it because it is the fixing for all colors. You can just play any number of the 1-mana Dorks, any number of them, and they're just going to perform as well as this 95% of the time.
Decks with all the Mana Dorks are going to be base green anyway. If you're like, you have 7 cards you want to play on turn 1 and they're all green, I'm willing to bet your deck is like 60% green cards, and you're going to be able to have green mostly and then have some other colors that you're going to be able to fix because you're green. This is just, I mean, for me, these are just here to like get me from 1 to 3. Like Boreal Druid is still a good card. Obviously, if you're like CEDH 100% tuning your deck, yeah, Old Hierarch probably subs in for like Avacyn's Pilgrim or Llanowar Elves or something, but I just think you're not getting there fast enough for me to want to spend $14 on this when I don't have to.
Agreed. And I think Exalted isn't worth it, and the mana fixing is not bad. It's definitely, this card is good.
It's definitely a good card.
No doubt about it. Like, I'm slotting this in when I have it for sure, but do I think it's worth $14? No, I really don't.
Because you might play 10 games where you draw this and cast it, and it would be no different than Llanowar Elves. And that, to me, that's not great for spending money.
Yeah, agreed.
Not a great place to put my money.
Last one, BZ. Hit them with it.
Oh, it's the last one. Descendants is back, and they're here with Buried Alive this time. Buried Alive really crept up there. You search for 3 creatures, and you put them in the bin. And this card is $6.50. Whew! It really went up there. For me, this is a weird card because when I first started, it was great, and I was like, get it in the deck. It's super good. Like, it's crazy. You set up everything. And then I feel like as I got to play more powerful cards, eventually I ended up cutting this. So it's really bizarre, and I'm not sure where it sits. Because it's great, and then when you're like reanimating and entombing, it's like, oh, I don't need this.
Yeah, but I think if you have a deck that wants this, it's worth $6.50. So when I look at this card, yeah, I think it's not a high-powered Magic card. As you get into CDH maybe even 9s, 8s. This card kind of falls off because it's 3 mana. It doesn't really impact the board. But you put stuff in the graveyard, obviously, but that's a little overcosted. But it's still really good.
Right, it's still an efficient card. I mean, you can put a lot of the time. The problem with this Entomb, it's like you don't really need the triple Entomb. You kind of just need one because you're animating one thing. You're not playing like Living Death after this. It's kind of clunky. You could obviously it goes in that deck, but it's not like the main game plan. So what you could do though is you can get like throw Bloodghast in there, throw another value thing in there, Woe Strider. I'm just making this up, and then get the thing you want to reanimate, and you just kind of like drew 2 cards. That's cool. I mean, I think this is probably worth $650.
Yeah, $650. I think it's definitely worth it. Buried Alive is just a good Magic card. My suggestion is don't put this in high power decks.
So if we're saying the decks this goes in, that would, I guess, restrict you at a certain point. You can't go past a certain point in power because then you just don't need this.
Yeah, you definitely don't need this. When you have Entomb and Unmarked Grave, they're both better cards.
It's true.
So final answer on Buried Alive, 2 thumbs up. Buy it. Totally worth it. We've done these kind of videos before. We have done several of them. So why don't you go check out all of our other Are They Worth Buying videos where we take suggestions from our Discord.
We're going to link you to the first one. You're going to get a little special flashback taste. You probably haven't seen this video.
Flashback. Peace out, Tribe Scouts.